Good
Good
evening,
evening,
everybody.
everybody.
We have
We have
Susan Lee with
Susan
us
Leigh
tonight.
with us
Hello,
tonight. Hello,
Susan.
Susan.
Hello, Steve. Hello, everybody.
Gosh, I
Gosh,
am
I
really,
am
really
really,
hot. It's been
really
a
hot.
hot
It's been a
day
hot
today.
day today.
It's uncomfortable, isn't it, when it's this hot? But we can't complain because it doesn't last that long, you know? You almost feel a bit like a
Yeah.
grouch if you say anything negative, don't you, really?
Well,
Well,
what we're going to
what
talk
we're going
about
to talk
tonight,
about tonight,
Susan.
Susan.
Well, we thought we'd talk about how sometimes if we don't think about it, we can just get up in the morning and just repeat what's going on, repeat what's in our head, just keep going day by day. And I thought it might be a nice idea to spend a little bit of time this evening thinking about what is the best way to start our day in a positive way, feeling upbeat, feeling refreshed, feeling a little bit clearer of mind about what we need to do in the day. So I thought we might share and discuss a few pointers on that particular subject this evening.
Brilliant, very
Brilliant,
good.
very good.
I like to
I'll
stay
let
in
you
bed
stay in bed
longer than I
longer than I
should,
should,
really.
really.
That's not always a positive thing to do. It can be if it's an occasional treat. But I do know also that a lot of people say if they keep pressing snooze on the alarm and they keep snatching another 5 or 10 minutes, or they just say, I'm going to stay in bed at the weekend and catch up. Occasionally, yeah, that's fine. But if we kind of have that as our mindset, as I wish I could, I want to stay in bed, what actually can happen is that we oversleep, we feel groggy when we get up, we feel a bit lethargic. It's not always a good way to start the day. So sometimes actually planning a little bit differently and going to bed at a reasonable time where we've sorted out our day's activities, we've wound down a little bit, we've ticked off a few necessary things to do that day, we've ticked those off. That can be a much more positive way to start the new day because we're feeling a little bit more in control. We're not just on the last minute or just racing to catch up,
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is the
What is the
healthiest way
healthiest way
to start your
to
day?
start your day?
Well, I think there's a few things. I think, like I've just said, going to bed at a reasonable time. Working backwards, I think, is quite useful. If you know that you have to get up at, say, 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock, you also know roughly how much sleep that you need, how much sleep you're wanting to have that evening. So work backwards and try and go to bed at that time, if wherever possible, so that you prioritise the things that you need to do. You may have some things that you can only start but not complete. Get those in hand, make a note of where you're up to, and sort of be a bit more in control. Be a bit more in control of what you say yes to, but equally be a bit more in control about what you say no to. No, I can't manage that. No, I'll have to do that another time. We don't have to be rude or aggressive, but no can be a positive way of keeping our control and again winding down in our day so that the next day we're feeling a little bit more ready to start and we're not feeling stressed with a load of stuff racing around in our heads where we're feeling guilty or stressed or in a bad mood about it. So again, that sort of knowing yes and working backwards and knowing what time you're going to bed that is useful for you. Those are things that give you a bit more control over your choices.
I've had
I've
some
had some
ideas here.
ideas here.
About keep your
Keep
blinds
your
open.
blinds open.
Sunlight is the
Sunlight is
best
the
way
best way
to
to
naturally wake your
wake
body
your
up in the
body up in the
morning.
morning.
I think that's a good idea. I mean, I don't close my curtains, so I do wake up as it is daylight, and I quite like doing that. I think, I think having your window open is useful in terms of fresh air. I think at the minute when it's so hot, actually having your window open in the day often just lets the heat in. So what is sometimes a useful idea in hot weather, if you're wanting to sleep and sleep a bit better, is maybe get a damp towel and hang it over your towel rail so that with your window open, you're actually filtering the air coming through and you're cooling it down a little bit with the towel. So that can also capture pollen, and if the pollen count's high, that can actually be a useful thing to do. And also in the heat, sometimes putting your pillowcases in a sealed bag in the freezer so they don't get damp, but it's sealed, so you cool them right down, and maybe using a hot water bottle with iced water in it, again wrapped in a towel. Those can be useful things that you can actually do. Having a fan near your feet where you have a jug of iced water, and that can be cooling you down too. So there's a few little tips when the weather's hot to actually excuse me, to actually kind of manage the heat a bit, you know.
Because you like walking your dog in the morning. Yeah.
I think going for a walk in the morning can be a lovely thing to do. It can be, you know, people have to walk an animal. If you have an animal, you've not, you know, if you've got a dog, you have to walk it. I think also in hot weather, it can be unfortunate for people if they choose to take a dog out in the midday, because the pavements can get so hot. There's often cases in the press of dogs getting blisters on their feet. So early morning, later evening are the better times to actually walk your dog. But yeah, it can be a great way to start the day and freshen you up, and also you're getting a little bit of exercise. Equally, people who don't have animals, you know, a lot of people like to get up early, and I know quite a few people who like to get to the gym, and they'll go and do a workout in the gym. They might do a class of some description and then have a shower and then go on to work. Or some people will actually have the kit with them and like to go for a visit to the gym after work. And again, that can be a great way to market your working day and feel again in control of it. Or, you know, doing a bit of yoga practice at home if you've got a garden or a veranda or something. That can be a nice way to do a little bit of yoga practice and get your day started, and then have a nice zesty shower with a really good citrusy shower gel. Can really spark you up and help you feel a lot more positive. Again, awake, alert, vibrant, looking forward to the day ahead.
Because some people like write a journal, don't they?
Yeah, a journal, a diary, that can be a useful way to process your thoughts. I tend to think that's possibly better in the evening, but again, you're decanting, you're clearing your mind of thoughts. You can be putting a lot of the stress down that may have been troubling you, so actually getting that out into a journal can be a useful way of clearing your head, clearing your stress out of your life. And again, important ways of ending your day so that you're able to go to bed with a clearer mind, sleep well, and then start your next day in a really positive way. So again, anything that helps like that you find useful can be good, because a lot of people do find that their journal is a friend, is a trusty companion that they share their thoughts and feelings with on a regular basis, and that's good.
Now, when I found out that you were doing this, couple of hours ago, I wrote a list. Warm water, fresh shower. Yeah?
You wrote a list, warm water for a fresh start.
Yes, yeah. I just put this down.
Okay.
Do you think that having warm water?
Well, some people. Yeah. Some people do enjoy that. Some people like a hot lemon drink. You know, some people find that lemon, a slice of lemon, maybe, putting a bit of honey, nice honey in there too, can be a great way of getting your metabolic rate. But yeah, water is a good idea, because it whatever has been building up in your system overnight, you're almost like, we wash ourselves, don't we? Wash our bodies. So taking water inside, warm water inside, is a good way of sort of almost like giving yourself a bit of a cleanse on the inside too, and gets your system moving, gets your system kicked into gear a little bit. So absolutely good. And as I say, quite a lot of people like putting a slice of lemon in their water, and that again can be a very healthy way to detoxify and to get your body, your system moving, which again is a positive thing to do.
How about a to-do list?
I think to-do lists are great. I think they're really important. I think a lot of people can feel overwhelmed when they go to bed at night and they're trying to cram in extra things before they go to bed, or they're worrying about what they've got to do the next day, or they're a bit concerned that they might forget things that are important. So I think a to-do list is a great way of reassuring yourself that you're not going to forget anything. So having a to-do list where you just write down every single thing you need to do, and then prioritize. Go through your to-do list and prioritize the things that are important, the must-dos for the next day, and the nice-to-dos that you can fit in if you've got a bit of time. And that way, when you tick them off, ticking things off on your list is a great way of feeling that you've achieved something special. It's a great way of feeling satisfied with what you've done. So a to-do list can reassure you, where you say, look, I don't need you in my head. I don't need to be plaguing me with thoughts about what I should or must or ought to be doing, what I might be frightened about forgetting. It's there. I'm not going to forget it. And I think a to-do list is actually incredibly useful. It's a great way of keeping your mind free so that you can actually wind down in the evening, go to bed at night, sleep well, get up in the morning knowing that you've got your list there of things that are important for you. And actually what some people do as well to help themselves in the morning is they may already have the clothes out that they're going to wear the next day. And that can save a bit of time messing about. You know, if you've got your uniform or your outfit or whatever it is you're going to wear the next day, if that's already hung up waiting for you, maybe you've done your packed lunch the night before and put it in the fridge. Maybe if you take breakfast, you've got your cereal dishes out waiting for you. So you're saving time, you're stacking the odds in your favour so that you can have a quicker, stress-free run at the day and then just feel, right, I can just cruise into the day, everything's done, I'm not going to forget anything, here I am sorted. And those things can help you start your day feeling good about it, feeling in control, not feeling rushed or rattled or hassled or whatever it might be.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry. Start with self-care.
Self-care's good. So I already talked, maybe some people like to do a yoga practice. Some people might like to do a meditation. Some people might to do a gentle workout at home, you know, an exercise routine that just mobilizes the joints, mobilizes the body and the metabolism. Some people might like to do a bit of a walk if they live somewhere nice where they can walk nearby, or, you know, as you say, take the dog out. Some people like to get on get off the tram if they're travelling on public transport, get off the tram or the bus or whatever, or stop early and do the last little bit of the journey on foot and walk, so that they have a little bit of time to just reorient themselves and just to move into the day a little bit calmer. And that's the whole benefit of going to bed at a reasonable time, because you're not snatching that extra 5 or 10 minutes in bed. You're able to say, okay, I know I've had my 6, 7, 8 hours sleep, I'm feeling okay, I'm feeling rested, I can get up now and use that extra time to do something that starts my day positively, rather than just trying to catch another 5, 10, 15 minutes in bed, which doesn't always benefit you and sometimes has you feeling quite raggedy and rushed when you get up at the last minute and think, oh my goodness, I'm late, you know. So again, doing things like that can be, or it's all about stacking the odds in your favour, doing things that help you feel supported.
Do you have a morning routine?
I get up, have a wash, brush my teeth, go downstairs, and I take I now have quite a few. I live right next door to the canal, so right. I go over the bridge in the morning. I take my bags of duck and swan and whatever food, bird food, and go along the towpath. And I work for myself, so I'm up quite early, and I go and I do a walk for about an hour and a half every day, and I feed all my beautiful birds, and I do that every single day, and I've done it for about 2.5 years now. And over all that time, I've probably missed 3 days when the weather was absolutely icy and impassable along there. And every other day I've actually managed it. So it's a delight, and I treasure that. And sometimes I'll have people say, oh, can I come and walk with you? And I say, yeah, okay. But that particular first morning walk is mine and mine alone. And if somebody wants to do the walk with me, I will repeat it later on in the day. But that first walk of the day is mine, and I treasure it. And I think most of us will have some part of our early morning routine that we do treasure, that we feel is ours, and kind of not jealously guard it, but you know, it's theirs, and it's almost like a private thing that is between you and what you're doing, and you really enjoy it for yourself, and it's an important investment in yourself, and I love doing it that way.
But what happens if we're married, though? You know, what happens if we're married then?
if you're married.
Yeah.
Well, married people don't have to do everything together. I think, we can have a partner, and it doesn't mean that we are, we're sort of, what's the word, tied together with everything we do. I'm a big advocate in couples sometimes finding the value of doing things a little bit separately sometimes, so that if you do every single thing together, that might be lovely and companionable and comfortable, but actually in real terms it can be a bit more stimulating if we occasionally do things separately. And when we do things separately, we come back and we've got something new to talk about. We've got something new to share. We're celebrating our independence, and so sometimes it's a good thing sometimes to just do a few things separately, where you remember that you are an individual, that you can go and wander around the shops, or go and have a coffee in the mall, or do a walk on your own, or go down the promenade, or whatever it might be. Even have sometimes hobbies or interests that are your own, that you enjoy for their own sake. And then sometimes it's not being unfaithful or wronging the relationship or negating your partner. Sometimes then when you come back, you've got new topics of conversation. You can share what you had as an experience, how you thought, how you felt. And it also gives a partner who's not joined you time to perhaps have a little bit of time on their own too. So there's nothing. I mean, when I was with my ex now, he used to often go away. I mean, his hobby was airplanes, and he often used to go on trips actually at weekends and things. And that was fine. I never minded, because those times when he was perhaps away on those trips, it meant I was able to work, or I caught up with my girlfriends, or I, did different things that possibly he wouldn't have wanted to do, or were fine for me just to do on my own or without him. And so it added to the relationship. It didn't detract. And I think it just depends on the couple. But in a lot of cases, having separate interests that you enjoy, that you maybe do differently, that you have a little bit of time on your own, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It can actually be the opposite. It can be a good thing and add a bit of extra value to your relationship. So, and that can be a good way to start the day too.
How about if you're always in a rush?
In a rush?
Skipping breakfast.
Well, I think, yeah, we all have occasions when that happens, and I think if we do that, notice how you feel, because often if we've done that, we can actually feel that the day is starting off on a different footing that we're not happy with. Sometimes if we are on the last minute and we've perhaps overslept, or we've not allowed ourselves enough time, or something has gone wrong first thing in the morning, it can mean that we're starting the day feeling a bit raggedy, a bit irritable, a bit stressed out, and sometimes actually reminding ourselves of the importance of going to bed at a decent time, having things perhaps organised in advance, feeling as in control as we can. Won't work 100% of the time, but at least we will feel that we're on the right track with what we're doing with our plans, and that is a good way to start the day.
And also, we need to be grateful.
Absolutely. Yes, very much so.
Thank you, Susan.
My pleasure.
Whatever we do in the morning, sometimes you can be tired, but always smile. And when the next time when you look at the mirror, smile to yourself, because you deserve it. Bye for now.